Welcome to the Magical Medicals podcast. I'm your host, Buddy Abrahams.
And I'm Terry Allen.
A show about the moments that changed people's lives forever. Welcome to the Magical Medicals podcast. I'm your host, Buddy Abrahams.
And I'm Terry Allen. And today we have I'm going to call him a friend, because we've known Rev Leon for 3 years.
3 years.
Wow. 3 years. I know.
Wow.
3 years. And we met at Agape. And Rev Leon is a youth and family director at Agape Spiritual Center in Beverly Hills, Los Angeles. He's also an amazing singer, songwriter, and poet. And Reverend Leon and I met in Agape because I worked with children doing mindfulness and mindfulness books. And I used to help him on a Sunday with the children. So yeah, it's wonderful to have you here. We're so honored to have you and blessed for you to share your divine stories or your story out to the world. And we know that it's going to be, as always, you're a wonderful, I don't want to say storyteller, but a wonderful visionary person when you are sharing your stories. Like, you really can step into that moment and feel the passion and the energy coming through. So we're really glad that you're here with us, and to share your magical moment that you had, which we don't know. As we always tell everybody, it's very organic, but we're always blessed and guided by who to ask to come on the show. And your name has been coming in for quite a few months, and so we're just really glad that you're here with us today.
Thank you so much. I'm so honored to be one of your guests. I'm so honored to be a part of Magic and Miracles. So yes.
Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful title. Yes.
Thank you, darling.
Thank you.
Well, we're going to leave the floor to you for you to share your what's the word I'm looking for? Unfolding of your magical moment.
Beautiful, beautiful. And so, what is it that you feel called you? And now I'm asking questions, but anyway, what called you to present Magic and Miracles?
I think, during the pandemic, we were asking for the divine, and we were asking Jesus, actually, funny enough, as well. How can we give something back out to humanity and share some light and inspiration for others to think you can ask for miracles? And people think it's miracles is like Jesus walking on water. No, it's not. Yeah. It could be any little thing that we miss every day. And I wanted people to share every different life story, so we felt that it would change people's lives and give them hope, and to get back to their connection of spirituality and oneness, and to know that they're never alone. They're always guided. And that was the inspiration that came through for us. And we did purchase this name a year and a half before, and we forgot about it. And and looking back, we didn't really know why we purchased it. We never thought of doing something like this, but we were guided in the end to do it. And we're blessed because we've met so many beautiful people.
We've met some amazing people, and we've heard some amazing stories, and the feedback that we've been getting from people has been absolutely phenomenal, because it's either a message that they've been waiting for, an answer that they've been waiting for, and it's changed their life in so different ways. I mean, we have over 34 countries listening to us today, in terms of just putting it out there and putting positivity out there, because I think a lot of people forget that a miracle, once we notice it, that those miracles come so many times, and it's just for us to be mindful of it. But we have miracles around us every single day. Every moment we have a miracle around us.
Yes.
Yeah, we do.
One of the things I'm excited about is everyday miracles. And there's a misnomer with people who believe that, like you said, Terry, that you have to walk on water. You have to float out of the hospital and all that. And it's really, I don't think that that's required, because when you look at most of the stories of miracles, they were inflated so that people would gather an interest. If you just said, like, for instance, if you said that Jesus was a carpenter and he did this and he did that, people would be bored. And so when we look at miracles, not saying that they weren't miraculous miracles, but we also have to remember what the great teacher Jesus said. He said, the things that I do, you shall do also, and greater things than these shall you do. In other words, he was pointing back to us that we had power. And they don't have to be these miraculous miracles. They can be just these simple everyday things that we go through. The very rising of the sun daily is a miracle.
Correct.
It's a cause for celebration. And so when I think about everyday miracles and what we do, I ask people to be open to the possibilities, to know that you are no coincidence, to know that your place in this world is divinely designed, and that you are a vital piece, and I want to say peace with P-E-A-C-E, you're a vital piece of the universal puzzle. And so to be open to the possibilities, not trying to force anything, not trying to make anything happen, but to know that you are not alone also. And so when you begin to walk through the world, your touch, your smile, your hug, your inspiration is creating miracles.
Correct.
It's creating miracles. And so, and it's magical. And one of the things I discovered many, many years ago was that the Aramaic meaning of the word abracadabra, and it's been spoken by magicians all over the world, but the Aramaic meaning is, I create as I speak. And so you're walking with magic. And then I talked to the children. I said, well, where's the power? Is it in your wand? Is it in Harry Potter's wand? And they said, no, Reverend Leon, it is in me. The power is in me. And so when we daily do an abracadabra, if I can share that, unaware of many times of the power and the presence that we carry. And this is not to go about boasting or bragging or egoic gesture, but to know that you matter. You matter. You matter to every grain of sand, to every blade of grass, to the very air that we breathe. And so I like everyday miracles. Not that I'm trying to make an everyday miracle, but your touch, your smile makes a difference. I used to live by a assisted living home, and they have a lot of senior citizens in it. And every day when I would go to get in my car, I had to walk past the facility. And I would notice each and every day there would be more and more seniors at the gate in their wheelchairs, et cetera, because I would say hello to everybody and, oh, hi, good to see you. Oh my God, you look so pretty. And it became a ritual, because one day the nurse told me, she says, Reverend Leon, they look forward to you passing the home. And so everyday miracles are happening, and it causes a ripple effect.
Correct.
When you do your part, I do my part, it becomes a ripple effect. So I love everyday miracles, and I'm so happy that you guys are recognizing, acknowledging it. So, because most of the time people start with the bad stuff.
No, but also sometimes, Leon, people go, if only if I get that, then this will happen to me.
Yes.
Or okay, if only if I get that car, I'm going to be happy. Or if only I get that home, I'm going to be happy. Or if only I get this moment, then I'm going to be happy. For me, life is about having a joy within ourselves. And the minute we acknowledge that, it's not about things that makes us happy. It's going to be about understanding those moments that God brings us, or the universe brings us. If we acknowledge those moments and just be mindful, life changes completely already for us.
Yes.
Correct.
I love that. I love talking about moments, because the magic is in the moment, not in the future. Correct. The past is over. So the magic and the miracle can only happen in this present moment. So it's Correct. Important we get present. And because waiting for something to happen is such a misnomer, because guess what has already happened? And we must develop eyes to see. We must begin to see, not only through our physical eyes, which only tells part of the story, but to begin to see through our third eye, our mind's eye.
Correct.
And it's important that we step into what I would say would be to step into I had it there and it will come back. But
stepping out into our authentic self.
Yes. But to some people, they don't really understand that or know what that means, what's being authentic. We've been imitators, we've been parrots. Correct. For so long, buddy, as opposed to saying, oh yeah, I came with something. Oh yeah, I'm unique to all the world. That's important to acknowledge also, and to know that your present situation does not tell the full story. It never tells the full story. And that many times we sit on the tip of the iceberg thinking that that's all the ice that we have. We're deep in the ocean. This iceberg goes on forever and forever and forever, deep, deep, deep. And that is yours. That is yours. Where many times we sit on the tip and say, oh, this is the only ice that I have. This is the only ice I know about. And oh my God, what's going to happen when it melts? And so I'm going to ask people to stay out of the future and to know magic and miracles are happening, but your eyes will not be detected. Your physical eyes can't detect it because you really don't see with the eyes. Scientists have, especially quantum physicists, as I was proven that the eyes are just the lens, where what really sees is the visual cortex.
Correct.
And that's been tainted. I hate to use that word, but that's been colored. That's been colored by your experience, by your cultural background, by your education. And so I like to say it this way, you guys, we see what we believe. Yeah. And I think that's absolutely amazing because if you take a camera, if you take an actual camera, especially a video camera, it will pick up everything that's in the room and you'll be amazed. What is that? Well, you look back at pictures later, you say, what the heck is that? But what's happening is one of the reasons why the camera can pick these things up is because the camera has no prejudgment, has no prejudice. The camera sees, like for instance, those cameras that, all cameras can pick it up when it's available, your aura. People can pick the aura that's around you. Well, the naked eye can't detect that. Most naked eyes can't detect that. But the camera can, and other things. I remember one time I was just experimenting out in the yard, and I was able to see images of people. And some people say, well, those are your guardian angels, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't know if that's true, but I was able to pick up these images, and I'll have to find those pictures again because with my physical eyes, I was the only one in the garden. I was the only one in the backyard. And so I'm going to ask people to like the great teachers, the great mystical teachers would say, in effect, don't judge by appearances. Don't judge by appearances. There's so much more before us that meets the eye. So I'm loving this everyday magic and miracles. Yes.
What would you say, Leon, what advice would you give someone that's always living in the future or living in the past? So many times people live in the past because of what's happened, or they're stuck in a time zone of what has happened rather than trying to get out of it. What advice do you think you can give some of those people or some of our listeners? Because I think it's easy for us to say, you need to live in the moment. But if someone has got all this worry and they have this fear, because fear is, number one, is an illusion. It's not real. But it makes you feel that it's real sometimes. And sometimes it's really difficult for some people to get out of it. especially when they're in an environment that is toxic, or the environment that is something has happened to them, and they keep playing that entire movie in their mind to what has happened and how they can get out of it, some or the other. How do you think someone can maneuver to come kind of get out of that energy field? Because we are energy as well. Whatever we are, every single one of us are energy, and it's just whatever energy we bring into our life, or what frequency we decide to have that radio station on.
And so one of the things I caution people and I let them know is that it's important that we begin to realize that we are not our experiences. And so when we have an experience, it's just a matter of saying, okay, let me dust that off and move on.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying immediately, so it takes people a while, but to know that you are not your experience. Sometimes when people have traumatic, especially traumatic experiences, they begin to say, oh, look what I've done. Look what I've caused. Look what, and they go through so many regrets and heartaches and thinking that they are that experience. And I tell people that you can step off that train of thought, because it's only a train of thought. It's your thinking. The great mystics like Ernest Holmes would say, change your thinking, change your life. And so you begin to see that I am more than that experience. I am more than somebody's opinion. I am more than that. I am more than a insurance statistic. I am more than what I've been through in my life. And so you begin to see that I can flip the script or change my thoughts about it.
Correct.
And that's important. That's important because if not, you will go around thinking that I am all these things. I am an alcoholic. I am a thief. I am whatever that is. And I said the alcoholic thing is because I know AA is doing some amazing work. But when you think about it, it's an acknowledgement, yes, that I'm in an experience. Yes, but I am not the experience.
Well, that's nice.
That's nice. I like that.
I like that.
I like that a lot.
I am I am not the experience. I like that.
I like that. Do you want to repeat that?
I am moving through an experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good.
Yeah. But that's not a label I'm going to carry for the rest of my life.
And people do.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
They carry it. And they don't realize they're carrying that story and that label and the whole thing. And then it becomes really heavy. And yeah, they don't realize. They get caught up in the wheel.
Yes. I am pliable. I am spirit. I am possibilities. Whatever that looks like for you. I don't tell people what to think, but I let them know that you are far more than this finite creation. You know, people say, well, I'm a man, I'm gay, I'm whatever that looks like for them, I'm transsex, whatever that looks like for them. But you can change the label anytime you want. Not to say that it's a bad thing. When I say a bad thing, it's not to say that I am acquiescing or anything like that. But I chose to be a fluid. I chose to be infinite. I choose to be
a light being.
Yes, one of the greatest. I like that, buddy, because one of the greatest definitions or labels I've discovered, and many people have discovered well before me, was I am light.
I agree with you. I am light, not the labels.
Yes, I am light. Because you can't define it. You can't put a label on your box and put you aside and say, you're this. Light can't be described.
An obstacle.
Yeah. Yes, it can be confined.
No, it can't be confined. That's
it
light can move everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like that. Light can't be confined.
I think that's one of the things. When you look at someone, we look at someone from a level of pure love and light, rather than a person, or rather than
Yes.
an obstacle, or rather
Yeah.
than who that person is, and I think that alone would shift so much energy and so much perception
On the planet, yeah.
on this planet, that we are just beings of light. That's what we
Yes.
are.
Yes.
And seeing each other's light, just seeing that person's soul and that light, not the host that we're in, but the inner light, which is who we are. This is a host we're in.
Correct.
Do you know what I mean? Coming in different colors, forms, and sizes, just like animals and flowers and trees.
Perfect.
And that's what people need to see. You don't look at a tree that's lost its leaves next to a tree that's still not lost his leaves yet and think, well, that's ugly. It's just in that transformational moment.
Yes. And I believe that once we attain this realization, it will help us transcend anything.
100%.
Yes, I think it will help us to transcend.
That will help us all. And I have to say, this is probably not going to go down well, but I'm always honest. The education system doesn't help with that.
No, I agree.
Sorry, Leon, I know you get me. I have to say it.
Yes, I agree. And
as you know, because we both work with children, and they're these bubbling, bright stars of light that come in the room, and and that's how they should just be still carried forward in life from such an early age, of knowing that they are that miracle light, that miracle being, that magical being. And
I think one of the reasons why is because we have ulterior motives. We're trying to get them to be something. We think, I remember a friend of mine, she says, Rev Leon, I can't wait to your children's book. And I said, why? She said, because when I go to the bookstore, every book is about trying to make them into something. What if we came from the premise that they already are something?
Thank you.
Our role was to draw forth.
Thank you.
Our role was to draw them out.
Amen. Yeah. Draw it out.
Yes. And so,
That's beautiful. And that's lovely. You're doing a children's book. Well done. Beautiful. Can't wait to see that one.
Yes.
But you're right. And more children's books need to be made. There's not enough.
Correct.
No.
But also
not the books that he's talking about.
Yes.
You've got a few, but there's not a lot.
Yeah.
So that's lovely. I agree with you on that one.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And we're stuck in these industrial age images.
Yeah, 100%.
We are highly advanced beings.
Completely.
So people are trying to create these employee machines.
I completely agree with you, because for me, if a woman can carry life, and that's a woman that's been pregnant,
that's a miracle. Let me just tell you that.
That's a miracle on its own.
Miracle, I agree. Every day.
You understand what I'm saying? For me, that's the biggest miracle that is a reality, and it's in our face. And I don't think we've realized that, how powerful that is, as another human being carrying another human being into life. And for me, that's already is like, that should tell us how powerful we are as human beings, and to be able to change, because the woman's body changes throughout the entire time when she's carrying that life, but she's carrying another being. And for me, that's so powerful, because I mean, if we just realize as humans how we can heal ourselves, that alone should tell you that that's a miracle in itself.
Yes.
Yeah. If that body can endure all that.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
It can endure anything. It can transform anything.
And it's a beautiful exchange takes place, not only with the child, but with the mother.
Correct.
Yes. A beautiful exchange.
And even, as many people know listening, that we adopted our beautiful boy, Michael, but that's I don't know, when another woman gives another person that child, that's another miracle again within itself. Beyond selfishness, or that's pure love. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter the circumstances, it's still, you know, it's a pure love offering, isn't it?
Yes.
You know, so that's a beautiful miracle, magical moment, as all children are, I think.
Yes.
But even just breathing every single day, to be able to inhale breath, because breath is something that keeps us alive.
It's the spirit. It's really a manifestation or an indication of spirit.
Yes, Leon. You are 100% right.
Yeah, that's why breath is important.
Yes. And I think that alone is showing us that we are a light being. We're carrying light, but also we it's part of our spirit to be able to breathe every single day, new breath.
And it also brings you back coherent. It brings you back to a level of consciousness every time you take the breath, because many times you see people are with shallow breathing. You experience people who are very unconscious because they have not contacted or have not in touch with the breath. Correct. Which brings you back to some semblance of recognition and awareness. Every time you take that breath, you begin to experience who you really are. You begin to experience that.
What when you found that you need guidance, or, you know, like all of us in our life, we ask for guidance, we ask for the divine to speak to us. What moments has come through for you, in which forms, in which ways, that you'd like to share?
And so just to drill down a little more, when I talk about that a little more in terms of what I began to realize, or with sacred moments of contemplation and breathing. Well, many times it doesn't register immediately, but it will register with programs like this. It was like, oh my God, I didn't know that. You know, it'll just come, just like I told you guys earlier. I wanted this to be spontaneous and organic.
Yeah.
So I wasn't always like this. I always needed notes. I always needed to refer to something. But as I began to contemplate and breathe and meditate, I'm beginning to tap in when needed. And that's important to know, that when needed, there's this still small voice, there's this powerful presence that will answer the question even before you guys answered it. It will tell me what questions you're going to ask, and it's like, okay, you're going to say this, and I said, wow, and I've trusted that for a while now, and it has been very key to my growth and development.
But you find also, like we find, when you're connecting to that spiritual being with the same energy wavelength, that the magical door and the information flooding in is a lot easier.
Yeah, but I'm noticing that the door is already open. Yeah, I'm noticing that the door is already open and has been open. And so that's why when Buddy spoke earlier about people that are fretting over the future, fretting about what they don't have, it's such a misnomer. We have it all.
100% we have it all.
We have it all.
Yeah.
And our thing is to develop the eyes, to cultivate the eyes, to see it. But you won't see it through the physical eyes. You'll see it through your mind's eye. That's
You're
where
right.
you see it. But we have it all.
I agree. And I think that's when people reconnect with nature, with Mother Earth.
Yes.
that's the new programming that could go in your mind, not the TV box in front of you,
Yes.
or the iPad or whatever gadget people are using, but to be in nature and feel the energy and look beyond into the nature and what it's feeding us and what it's giving us and exchanging with us and evolving, and magical moments all the time.
Yes.
That's when we fully come in that alignment. I personally think. I'm not saying that children shouldn't have their gadgets, but there has to be
A balance.
There has to be a balance, and nature is a big part of that balance. And for us to notice that, because when I was recently home in England, and I'm very aware when I'm walking down the street, I'm looking at the trees, the grass, I'm looking at England's nature, it's different. And then I was observing people that walk past me, and their head is to the floor.
Yes.
They look at nothing.
Yes. Because their mind is occupied with the future or with the past. And I like, Terry, when you use the word alignment. Our role is to get in sync, in line, align with what already is. What already is. Not that we have to make anything, but we begin to stop and begin to become aware that, my acres and diamonds are right here. The Holy Grail is right before me. And that I possess a key, I have a key role in this connection. I have a key role in this connection. And what we're saying, I want to just let everybody, what we're saying is not easy, because if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. One of the reasons why I don't like the books that have formulas, because that formula might not work for everybody.
Correct.
So it's a misnomer. 9 steps to this, 10 steps to that, 12 steps to that. I think
I took 100.
and not to be critical, but I just think that there's no formula.
I agree.
And so we become, we get in line, we align with what already is.
I completely agree with you, and I like, because a few months ago we had Neil Donald Walsh on our podcast, and the first thing he goes, if something goes wrong in your life, or you're in a situation you feel you can't get out of, or you feel that something is not right or somehow or the other, the first thing you have to do is sit still, and all you have to say is, what does this have to do with the agenda of my soul?
Wow.
Yeah, it's powerful. I use it a lot.
And that just really shifts the energy, but it also brings you back into perspective and into a mindful moment.
Because when you ask that question, 9 times, probably 10 out of 10, it hasn't. You know what I mean? Like if you're arguing or wasting your time on someone, or there's something going on, and you ask that question, your conclusion will be, it's not.
Yeah.
It really is a wake-up moment. But also what you said before, for people that are listening, for those that, we've all gone through different ways of knowing when we're not in that alignment. So for people listening, maybe they don't know they're out of alignment, or maybe they don't know the symptoms of how they feel when they're out of alignment. And then, because I get clients saying to me, how do I know that when I'm off? Would you like to share some tools or insights on that?
Well, the first thing I tell people is that quit beating yourself up. There's nothing wrong with you. And when you come from a place where there's nothing wrong, then you can have a jumping point. And also, I share with people that let's begin to speak to the greatness within us, where many times people start with what they don't have. I ask people to start with what you do have. I ask that you speak to the butterfly. And people say to me, they're very critical, and they say, well, Reverend Leon, if it wasn't for the caterpillar, there would be no butterfly. But I think we as humans spend too much time on the caterpillar. What if you one day just began to speak to your significant other, speak to your son or daughter, speak to your family, speak to the butterfly, begin to figuratively stand at the finish line on a daily basis. In other words, you're saying, I knew you could do it. I knew you would make it. I knew that you were powerful. I knew you had the power. That makes a difference, as opposed to criticizing, judging, and begin to try to make people feel less than. But why not speak to the oak tree? Why not say you're powerful beyond measure? Even if you don't see it yet. I know these possibilities exist to you. You are amazing. What if we began to speak to ourselves and others to the possibilities? And so that's one of the first things I do in terms of, because if not, you'll fluctuate. You'll fluctuate because you're thinking that one day you're this way, one day you're that way. No, you have always been the butterfly. You have always been the oak tree. Maybe not. And the second thing I tell people is that I'm going to ask you to stop comparing. I'm going to ask you to stop.
Yeah, comparing's good.
Yeah, I'm going to say to you that you're perfect just the way you are. Perfection in our world consists of comparing ourselves to the great this, the great celebrity, the great athlete, the great. Well, I'm going to say to you, you're perfect as Terry. You're perfect as Buddy. And nothing needs to be added or changed. We evolve, we grow, we develop. But going through these cosmetic changes and blah, 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 I feel is unnecessary because you're perfect just the way you are. And so that's two of the things I tell people. I tell them that quit beating yourself up and know that there is greatness within you. Probably not like the next person, but we don't need a duplicate. We don't need another Muhammad Ali. We don't need another Winston Churchill. We don't need another Beyonce, because we already have these people.
Yeah.
We need you to be you.
Yeah.
And what does that look like? What does that feel like?
Yeah.
And so it's important that we begin to realize that and begin to just know that there are no coincidences where you sit.
Correct.
There's never been any coincidences where you sit. You are a vital piece. Like I'm going to say again, you're a vital piece to the universal puzzle. And without you guys, even this Zoom link would have never taken place. And we could perhaps never have touched that individual who was looking to be uplifted, who was really sad today, who turned on their computer, and here you guys are. They didn't know anything about you guys, but here you go. And it's like, oh my God, what is this? And I hear this all the time from people. That I was changed when I heard you say whatever that looks like. And so let's be open, let's be available.
Yeah, it's right. It might only be one word or one thing, like, the lessons that you're saying, something, and they think, oh yeah, let me try that then. And then it changes someone's life, and then they may pass that on to another person. You don't know how it's affected those people's lives.
Yes. And it just might be a matter of a slight shift in your thinking. Yeah.
I agree with you 100%. And what tools do you use on yourself when you feel, I might be a little off balance here, or what tools do you use for yourself?
Well, one of the things I do is I take a regular sabbatical. In other words, I take the time to just go alone, go apart for a bit, sit, contemplate, read. Singing also helps me to get back in sync or alignment. Singing helps me a lot. And I'm starting to write more than ever I write. I did a one-man show, and I wrote the whole show. I wrote the songs in collaboration with some of other songwriters, but I start to turn within, so to speak, and sit for a while. And I do classes and workshops, and I recognize that the classes are for me. I became the first student. I'm the first student. And I wouldn't dare present anything that I'm not willing to do myself. I wouldn't dare. And so when people say to me, and when I say to people, you can do it, I found myself doing a one-man show in a theater, and I'm like, oh my God, you've never done this before.
Wow.
And then I say to myself, what are you telling your clients? What are you telling them? You've got to be the first to go. And I didn't do that because of that. I just found myself with this opportunity. And you better believe I took it. Scared and all, but I took it.
Good for you.
And it turned out extremely well.
Did you record that?
Yes, it's on demand right now.
Where,
And I'll leave you guys the
yeah, send it to us, because then we can put it in.
We can share the link.
maybe I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah, and then we can share the link out to people when we
Yes.
broadcast this out. I think
Yeah.
that'd be great. I'd like to watch it as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because I missed it because I was in the UK, but yeah,
Yeah.
otherwise we would have been there.
Yeah, I'll put it in the chat.
Thank you, darling.
Fantastic. Well, Leon, this has been absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for taking the time, talking to us. I think this is really amazing in terms of just giving people a bit of understanding in terms of what to do at this point in time.
And
on the
tools,
planet.
different tools.
Some tools that's available. But also I think it's good to talk about alignment, good to talk about vibration, good to talk about the fact that to be mindful and just you're aware in terms of what to do a check-in on yourself. You know, it's extremely important.
Thank you, guys. I so enjoyed this, and I look forward to those things that you're doing. And so, because we're blessed, we're going to be blessed because of you. Okay, so.
Well, thank you for sharing your tools. And when
I put the link in your chat. I put the link in the chat.
Fantastic.
Yeah, we've got that, and we'll share it out to everybody once we're going to release it. And
yes.
it's the guy's not edited it, but whatever he does to it to make it sound better, and we will share that out with people. But yeah, thank you so much for sharing your tools, your information, your insights, your energy, your light with us today. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you for being in our life.
Yes, thank you
so
both.
much.
And Michael's.
Yes, I want to thank you both.
Thank you.
So, yes. All right. So
Thank
let me
you.
know if you need anything else. I'm happy to share with you. Happy to be with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.